The massive display screen in Earth's Defense Command Center showed the sneering face of High Admiral Reed. His purple-tinted skin and silver eyes marked him as one of the Empire's elite, and his expression made it clear what he thought of Earth and its people. "Look at this primitive vessel," Reed said, displaying an image of Earth's newest warship, the TNS Defiant. "It barely qualifies as a cargo hauler by Imperial standards." His laughter echoed through the command center, joined by the chuckles of other Imperial officials visible in the background. At the back of the room, Captain James Walker stood with his hands clenched into fists. The TNS Defiant was his ship, and more importantly, it represented the best of human engineering and innovation. 6 months of secret development, countless sleepless nights, and the combined efforts of Earth's finest minds had gone into that vessel. "The humans think they can join the Galactic Council as equals?" Reed continued, his voice dripping with contempt. "They send this toy, to protect their borders? Perhaps we should send them some of our outdated patrol boats. Even those would be an improvement over their current defenses." The Earth Defense Council members sat silently, their faces carefully neutral. General Thompson, their head of operations, simply nodded along, playing the role of an embarrassed inferior perfectly. It was exactly what they wanted the Empire to think. Walker watched the Imperial transmission with mixed feelings. Part of him wanted to reveal the truth about the Defiant's capabilities right then and there. The quantum core hidden deep within its hull could generate enough power to rival a small star. Its advanced shield systems could absorb hits that would tear apart any Imperial vessel. But that wasn't the plan. "We appreciate the Empire's concern," General Thompson replied diplomatically. "Earth is still learning its place in the galactic community." More laughter from the Imperial officials. One of them, a junior officer, whispered something to Reed, who smiled wider. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order," Reed suggested. "The Empire is hosting a military showcase in the Arcturus system next month. Bring your best vessel, this TNS Defiant, and we'll show you what real military power looks like." Walker stepped forward, unable to contain himself any longer. "Sir," he addressed General Thompson, requesting permission to accept the Empire's invitation. The room fell silent. Even the Imperials on the screen seemed surprised by the direct interruption. "And you are?" Reed asked, his silver eyes narrowing. "Captain James Walker of the TNS Defiant, sir." Walker stood straight, meeting Reed's gaze through the screen. "Ah, the captain of the toy ship himself," Reed said, his mock surprise obvious. "Come then, Captain. Show us what Earth's finest can do. We'll even provide you with a proper escort, in case your vessel breaks down along the way." General Thompson looked at Walker, a subtle glint in his eye. This was exactly the opportunity they had been waiting for. "Captain Walker has my permission to attend the showcase," he announced. "Excellent." Reed clapped his hands together. "We look forward to educating Earth on proper military technology." High Admiral Reed out. The screen went dark. In the silence that followed, Walker turned to General Thompson. "Sir, are we still maintaining Protocol 7? "Affirmative, Captain." "Let them underestimate us. Let them mock us." Thompson stood and walked to the window, looking out at the TNS Defiant docked in orbit above Orgel Station. "They see a primitive vessel held together by hope and outdated technology. Let them keep thinking that, until it's time to show them otherwise." Walker nodded, a small smile forming on his lips. The Empire had no idea what they had just invited to their showcase. They would learn soon enough. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in showing off their power. It was in knowing when to reveal it. "Captain, you leave for Arcturus in 3 days," General Thompson ordered. "Yes, sir." Walker turned to leave, already mentally preparing for the mission ahead. The Empire wanted a demonstration. They would get one. Just not the kind they were expecting. 6 months earlier, in a hidden facility deep under the Rocky Mountains, Captain Walker stood watching as engineers worked on what would become the heart of the TNS Defiant. Chief Engineer Anna Miller moved between the glowing machines, checking readings on her tablet. "Captain, you need to see this," Anna called out, her eyes bright with excitement. She pointed to a small device on the table that glowed with a soft blue light. "We finally did it. We managed to capture the power of a star in something smaller than a coffee maker." Walker stepped closer, staring at the quantum core in amazement. The device hummed quietly, but he knew it contained enough power to light up an entire city. "Will it work in the ship?" he asked. "Better than we thought," Anna replied. She pulled up a 3D model of the TNS Defiant on her screen. "We can hide it right here, in what looks like an ordinary engine room. The Empire's scans will only see normal power readings. They'll have no idea what's really inside." The memory of that day was still fresh in Walker's mind as he walked through the actual engine room of the completed TNS Defiant. From the outside, the ship looked simple. Plain gray metal, basic weapon ports, nothing that would catch anyone's attention. That was exactly what they wanted. "Engine test starting now," Anna's voice came through the ship speakers. Walker watched as the quantum core powered up. Unlike normal engines that shook the whole ship, this one barely made a sound. The only sign it was working was a slight blue glow from behind the hidden panels. "Report," Walker called out. "Power levels at 400%. What the Empire would expect from a ship this size," Anna replied. "And that's just at 10% capacity. The best part? Our new shields can absorb any hit and turn it into more power for our weapons." Walker smiled. The Empire's strongest weapons would only make Earth's ships stronger. It was like trying to fight fire by throwing wood at it. Lieutenant Tom Green, the weapons officer, joined them in the engine room. "Sir, you should see what this power source does to our main gun," he said, holding up his own tablet. "We installed it yesterday. One shot can turn an asteroid into dust. But from the outside, it looks like a regular laser cannon." "Have we tested the cloak?" Walker asked, looking at the engine readings. Anna nodded proudly. "The quantum core lets us hide in plain sight. We can make the ship look like it's falling apart while actually running at full power. The Empire scans will show exactly what we want them to see, an outdated Earth vessel, barely worth noticing." The three of them walked to the bridge, where other crew members were running final tests. Through the main window, they could see Earth shining below them. The ship that looked so weak to the Empire had taken thousands of hours of secret work to build. "Captain," Anna said quietly, "there's something else you should know. The quantum core. It's learning. Every time we use it, it gets more efficient. By the time we reach the Empire's showcase, it might be even stronger than it is now." Walker looked around at his crew, each person knowing the true power they controlled. "Keep running tests," he ordered. "But remember, until we reach that showcase, we're just a weak little Earth ship that doesn't know any better." The crew nodded, understanding their role in this grand deception. Earth had learned long ago that sometimes the best defense wasn't showing strength, it was making others underestimate you. "1 month until the showcase," Walker said, looking at the stars through the window. 1 month until the Empire learns why you should never judge something by how it looks from the outside. The TNS Defiant continued its tests, floating quietly above Earth, looking like nothing special at all. Just the way they wanted it to look. Earth Defense Council Chamber. The chamber was filled with tension. 12 leaders sat around the large, round table, looking at the hologram of the TNS Defiant floating in the center. General Thompson stood at the head of the table, his face serious. "The Empire has challenged us openly," Thompson said, pointing at the replay of High Admiral Reed's mockery. "Now we must decide how to respond. Do we show them our full fleet, or do we stick to the plan and send just one ship?" Captain Walker stood near the wall, waiting for his turn to speak. He watched as the council members argued back and forth. Some wanted to show force, others wanted to stay quiet. "We should send our whole fleet," Admiral Jones said, slamming his fist on the table. "Show them everything we have. And risk starting a war?" Council member Lisa Parker countered. "We're not ready for that." The argument continued until Walker stepped forward. "Sir, permission to speak?" General Thompson nodded. "Go ahead, Captain." "The Empire thinks they know what the TNS Defiant can do," Walker said, looking at each council member. "They're wrong. Send my ship alone. Let them think they're going to humiliate us. When they see what one Earthship can really do, imagine how careful they'll be, knowing we have more." The room went quiet. The hologram spun slowly, showing the Defiant from all angles. It looked simple. Basic. Exactly what the Empire expected from Earth. Anna Miller, who had been invited to the meeting, stood up next. "The quantum core is working better than ever," she reported. "Yesterday's tests showed power levels at 600% of Imperial standards. The Empire scans still can't detect it." "But sending one ship?" Admiral Jones asked. "It looks like weakness." "That's exactly what we want," Walker replied. "The Empire already thinks we're weak. Let's use that. They'll put on a big show, bring out their best ships, and then—" He let the sentence hang in the air. Everyone in the room knew what the Defiant could do. General Thompson looked at the gathered leaders. "All in favor of sending the TNS Defiant alone?" One by one, hands went up. Even Admiral Jones finally raised his, though he didn't look happy about it. "Captain Walker," Thompson said, "your mission is simple. Go to the showcase. Let them mock us. Let them show off. But if they cross the line, if they threaten Earth, show them just enough of our power to make them think twice." "Just enough?" Walker asked. "We don't want to start a war," Thompson explained. "We want to prevent one. Show them that attacking Earth would be a mistake, but don't show everything. Let them wonder what else we might have." The hologram changed, displaying the route to the Arcturus system. It would take the Defiant 2 weeks to reach the showcase. 2 weeks until the Empire's biggest mistake. "One more thing," General Thompson added. "The Empire is sending an escort ship to guide you. Act like you need their help. The more they underestimate us, the better this will work." Walker nodded. "When do we leave?" "Tomorrow morning. Your crew is ready." "They've been ready since we built the ship, sir." The meeting ended, and Walker walked alongside Anna toward the Defiant's dock. Through the windows, they could see the ship being prepared for launch. "Do you think this will work?" Anna asked quietly. Walker watched as fuel trucks moved around the ship, making it look like they needed vast amounts of normal fuel, even though the quantum core could power the ship for years. "Yes," he said. "Because the Empire has one weakness bigger than anything we could build." "What's that?" "Pride," Walker answered. "They're so sure they're better than us, they won't see the truth until it's right in front of them." The sun set behind Earth, casting long shadows across the Defiant's hull. Tomorrow they would begin their journey. Tomorrow they would start teaching the Empire a lesson about judging others. The slow journey to Arcturus. The TNS Defiant floated in space, moving sluggishly, as if struggling to keep up with the Imperial escort ship that led the way. The escort ship, twice the size of the Defiant and painted in bright Imperial colors, kept sending messages asking if the Earthship needed help. Captain Walker sat in his command chair, watching the stars through the main window. "Another message from the escort, sir," Lieutenant Tom Green reported from his station. "They're asking if we want them to slow down again." Walker smiled lightly. "Tell them yes, please. Our engines are having trouble keeping up." Anna Miller, working at the engine controls, shook her head. The quantum core was running at just 2% power, but they had to pretend it was struggling at full capacity. "They're scanning us again, Captain," she said. "All fake readings are working perfectly. They think we're barely moving." The journey to Arcturus had already taken a week. At full power, they could have arrived in 2 days. But that would have given away their secret. Instead, they played the role of a slow, weak Earthship. "Imperial patrol ships approaching," Tom announced. 3 of them. They're not part of our escort." Walker straightened in his chair. They had been warned this might happen. Imperial ships like to harass Earth vessels. "Everyone remember the plan," he said calmly. "We're weak, scared, and grateful for their protection." The patrol ships came close, their weapons clearly visible. They were smaller than the escort ship but still looked dangerous. A message came through on the main screen. Well, what do we have here? The patrol captain asked, smirking. The famous Earth warship. It looks even worse up close. We're just heading to the showcase, Walker replied, making his voice sound nervous. Our escort is helping us. Your escort works for us, the patrol captain interrupted. Let's see how well your ship dodges. Without warning, the patrol ships fired energy bolts, close enough to look terrifying, but not close enough to hit. The Imperial crews laughed over the communication channel. Walker gripped his chair tightly. The Defiant's real shields could have absorbed those shots and only grown stronger. Its weapons could have reduced the patrol ships to dust. But they had to wait. Please, Walker said, forcing a hesitant tone into his voice. We're under Imperial protection. Protection? The patrol captain laughed. Maybe we should show you what real Imperial ships can do. Suddenly, the escort ship's captain appeared on all screens. Stand down, he ordered the patrol ships. This vessel is under my protection by direct order of High Admiral Reed. Do you want to explain to him why his special guest didn't arrive at the showcase? The patrol ships quickly backed off. They didn't want to risk angering Reed. The escort captain turned to Walker. Sorry about that, Earth Captain. Some of our patrols get excited. We'll make sure it doesn't happen again. After the screen went dark, Walker's crew looked at him. That was hard to watch, Tom said quietly. Good, Walker replied. The more they think they can push us around, the bigger their surprise will be at the showcase. Anna checked her readings. The quantum core is getting stronger every day, Captain. Their practice shots may have missed, but the energy still fed our shields. We're now at 700% of Imperial power levels. Walker nodded, looking at the distant stars. One more week until they reached Arcturus. One more week of pretending to be weak. He thought about the patrol ships, about how easy it would have been to show them Earth's real power. Patience, he reminded his crew. Remember what General Thompson said. We're not here to start a war. We're here to prevent one. Let them laugh now. Soon, they would learn why you should never judge a book by its cover, or a warship by its looks. The Defiant continued its slow journey through space, playing the role of a weak Earthship perfectly. Inside, the quantum core hummed quietly, growing stronger with each passing day. Waiting for the right moment to reveal its true power. The showcase begins. The Arcturus system was filled with Imperial warships. Hundreds of them floated in a giant circle, their silver hulls gleaming under the light of 3 suns. In the middle of this grand display, the TNS Defiant looked tiny and out of place. High Admiral Reed's face appeared on every screen in the Defiant's bridge. Welcome, Earthship, he announced, not hiding his amusement. I see you made it here in one piece. Impressive. For you. Captain Walker stood on his bridge, looking calm despite being surrounded by the Empire's best ships. His crew worked quietly at their stations, pretending to be nervous. Thank you for inviting us, Admiral, Walker replied politely. We're honored to be here. Of course, Reed laughed. Now, we've prepared a special demonstration area for your vessel. There's an asteroid field nearby. Each ship will demonstrate its weapons by destroying an asteroid. We'll go first to show you how it's done. 3 Imperial battleships moved forward. Each one was at least 4 times bigger than the Defiant. They fired their most powerful weapons. Space lit up with explosions. When the light faded, the asteroids had been reduced to dust. The Imperial crews cheered. Reed turned back to the Defiant, his smirk growing. Your turn, Earth Captain. Let's see if your little ship can do anything at all. Walker stood still, hands clasped behind his back. They had mocked Earth, humiliated them, treated them like a joke. It was time for the joke to end. Lieutenant Green, Walker said smoothly. Fire. The Defiant finally revealed its true power. Reed smiled widely. That's how proper warships handle targets, he said smugly. Now, Earthship, it's your turn. Try your best with that little laser of yours. Even breaking off a small piece would be acceptable. Walker looked at his crew. Anna nodded from her station. The quantum core was ready. Tom sat at weapons control, his fingers hovering over the firing panel. They had practiced this moment 100 times. "Admiral," Walker said, "could we try something a bit different? Instead of breaking the asteroid, could we demonstrate precision?" Reed laughed. "Oh, trying to save face by showing accuracy instead of power? Very well. Choose your target." Walker pointed to the largest asteroid in the field, nearly a kilometer wide, made of solid rock. "That one." An Imperial officer scoffed. "That's 10 times the size of the ones we hit. They'll barely scratch it." "Let them try," Reed said, clearly enjoying himself. "Let everyone see what Earth weapons can do against a real target." Walker took a deep breath. "Targeting systems ready," he ordered. "Power at minimum level." The Imperial crews were probably placing bets on how small the Earthship's blast would be. The Defiant turned slowly, lining up its shot. "Fire," Walker commanded. A thin beam of blue light lanced out from the Defiant. It looked almost insignificant, too small to matter. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the asteroid began to glow. Not just the spot where the beam had hit, the entire asteroid. The glow intensified, burning brighter and brighter until the light became blinding. Imperial officers shielded their eyes. When they looked again, the asteroid was gone. Not broken. Not cracked. Not reduced to chunks. Simply gone. Turned to dust, so fine it sparkled in the starlight. Silence filled every communication channel. The Imperial ships floated motionless. On the main screen, Reed's face had lost all trace of amusement. Walker leaned back in his chair. "Would you like to see what happens at full power?" Reed swallowed hard. That's impossible. Our scans showed." "Your scans showed exactly what we wanted them to show," Walker interrupted. "Just like they're showing you only what we want you to see right now." The Imperial fleet began shifting, turning their weapons away from the Defiant. They had finally realized. They weren't the hunters. They were the prey. "One Earthship," Walker said evenly. "Just one. Imagine what 2 could do. Or 10. Or 100. His eyes locked onto Reed's. "How many do you think we have, Admiral?" Reed had gone pale. The mighty Imperial fleet, the pride of the galaxy, had just learned a very important lesson. Never mistake patience for weakness. And never judge a warship by its looks. The negotiation. The Imperial fleet hung in space, frozen like statues. No ship dared to move. On the Defiant's main screen, High Admiral Reed was speaking rapidly with his officers. Their faces showed something Earth had never seen from them before. Fear. Finally, Reed turned back to Walker. He tried to sound calm. "Captain Walker, perhaps we should discuss this situation in person. My flagship has excellent meeting rooms." "No need," Walker interrupted. "Our sensors can detect any signs of traps or weapons being prepared. Would you like me to list the 16 different ways your flagship is currently trying to target us?" Reed's face blanched. He quickly pressed a few buttons. Across the fleet, targeting systems powered down. "A wise choice," Walker said. "Now, let me show you something else." He nodded to Anna. The chief engineer pressed a few controls. The Defiant's outer hull shimmered. The dull gray plating peeled away, revealing smooth black armor beneath. Weapon ports slid open along its sides. Dozens of them. The ship that had looked so weak a moment ago now looked like something from the Empire's worst nightmares. "Impossible!" one of Reed's officers shouted. "Our scans showed." "Your scans showed a weak ship because that's what we wanted you to see," Anna said, stepping into view of the screen. "Just like they didn't show you our quantum core. Or our adaptive shields. Or our ability to absorb energy weapons and use them to make ourselves stronger." Tom checked his console. "Sir, 3 Imperial ships are secretly trying to power up their main weapons." Walker didn't even look concerned. "Show them what happens when they do that." A pulse of blue energy rippled outward from the Defiant. It wasn't an attack, just a warning. But when the pulse hit the 3 ships, their power systems went dark. They floated helplessly in space. "Don't worry," Walker said casually. "Your power will come back in about an hour. Think of it as a reminder." Reed had stopped pretending to be powerful. Now he just looked worried. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. "The same thing we've always wanted," Walker replied. "Peace, respect, equal treatment in the Galactic Council." His voice was calm, but his words were heavy. "We're not interested in war, Admiral. If we were—" Walker gestured to the disabled ships. "This conversation would be very different." Reed hesitated. "But, your technology. How did you hide this from us?" Walker gave a small smile. "The same way we're hiding other things right now." Reed and his officers stiffened. "The same way. Their fleet strength. Their defenses. Their other advances." The Empire had spent centuries believing Earth was weak. What else had they gotten wrong? A chime sounded from Tom's station. "Message from Earth Command, Captain." General Thompson's face appeared on the secondary screen. "Well done, Captain Walker." Then he turned to Reed. "Admiral Reed, I believe it's time for real negotiations. Unless you prefer another demonstration." Reed shook his head quickly. "No. No more demonstrations." He straightened. I will speak with the Imperial Council immediately. Perhaps we can schedule a proper diplomatic meeting." "Excellent idea," Thompson said smoothly. "Captain Walker and the Defiant will remain in the Arcturus system until arrangements are made. I trust you'll make sure your ships treat them with appropriate respect this time." Reed nodded stiffly, glancing at the Defiant, the ship he had mocked, now the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. Walker sat back in his chair. "Send a message to all ships," he ordered. "Tell them we look forward to peaceful cooperation between Earth and the Empire." He paused. "And remind them that appearances can be deceiving." The message traveled across the fleet. The Empire had learned its lesson. Never mock what you don't understand. Because sometimes the joke is on you. Admiral Reed hesitated, then spoke quietly. "No hard feelings, I hope?" Walker smiled. "None at all. Sometimes, the best lessons are the ones that hurt our pride a little." Reed glanced up through the crystal ceiling at the Defiant, still floating alongside Imperial warships. He shook his head. "One ship," he muttered. "One ship made us rethink everything we thought we knew about Earth." Walker nodded. That was the point. He let the words sink in before continuing. "Earth didn't want to prove its strength with a massive fleet or aggressive actions. We wanted to prove it by showing that even our smallest actions could change everything." A palace official called for attention. The room fell silent as General Thompson stepped forward. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic history," he announced. "Earth will join the Galactic Council as a full member, with all the rights and responsibilities that come with it. Our technology, our knowledge, and our unique way of thinking will be shared with all peaceful races." Walker watched as the Imperial Council members signed the treaty. Each signature represented months of careful planning. Months of letting the Empire believe Earth was weak. Months of waiting for the perfect moment to reveal the truth. Nearby, an Imperial officer whispered to a colleague, "But what about the other Earth ships? How many more are hidden? How powerful are they?" Walker smiled to himself. That was exactly the question Earth wanted them to keep asking. Because the truth? The Defiant wasn't even Earth's most advanced warship. But letting the Empire wonder what else Earth had was far more powerful than showing them. The return home. After the ceremony, Walker and his crew returned to the Defiant. As they prepared for their journey home, Tom looked up from his console. "Message from Earth Command," he reported. "They say Imperial patrols are already treating Earth ships with more politeness." Anna smirked, checking the quantum core's readings. "Funny how that works." "Not funny," she corrected herself. Logical. Nobody wants to risk making an enemy of someone who might be stronger than they are. Walker nodded. That's not why we did this. We didn't want to rule through fear. He looked around the bridge, meeting the eyes of his crew. We wanted to earn respect. Mission accomplished, wouldn't you say? Anna asked, grinning. Walker turned to his screen, where the treaty terms were displayed. Earth ships would have free passage through Imperial space. Earth technology would be respected, not mocked. And most importantly, the Empire would think twice before underestimating Earth again. He smiled. Set course for home. The Defiant turned gracefully, its black hull gleaming as it passed the Imperial fleet. One by one, the Empire's warships flashed their lights in salute. No one was laughing now. Not at the ship they had once called a toy. Walker watched the Imperial vessels fade into the distance and leaned back in his chair. Sometimes, he said to his crew, the best way to keep peace isn't to show everyone how strong you are. He glanced at the Defiant's reflection in the viewport. It's to show them just enough, to make them wonder what else you can do. The Defiant headed home, carrying with it more than just a treaty. It carried the promise of a new future, one where Earth would no longer be underestimated. Not because of the size of its fleet, but because of the wisdom it had shown in revealing its strength.